remotely.
I just have a question about what you just put together. I'm just.
I moved things up. So Salvation Farms is on the top and the bottom.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
Okay.
Because I wanted to put everything, I was tired of looking up and down, so I just put it all in the same section.
Okay, it was a little confusing.
Little insight into how my mind works.
Thank you.
I can give you a little instruction sheet if it helps.
No, it's okay. Got it.
So, so just before you guys, before we leave, just want to take a straw poll here. So, we don't have our clerk. I'll just go, I guess we can just go around the room and say if you support what we've just landed on for the record. So go ahead, Heather.
Sure, for the record, I am in support of what we just landed on for our budget memo.
Okay.
Yes, I second.
Yes. Okay.
I support it.
Yes.
Yes.
I support it.
One complicated question here. So what's left for the agricultural development grant from what?
So I think it's 8.850.
Still a substantial amount of money.
It's $8 million.
Yeah.
And are we putting any guardrails on it?
We haven't,
And does anybody here want to other than myself?
No, I can't deal with that.
Yeah, okay. Well, then I guess I
I-
don't, I don't support it then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could I just interject and
Yeah,
tell
please.
you that there's more detail and eligibility and prioritization here than in most of the ag grant programs and statute.
That's scary.
I would say basically more than all of them.
Can you be a support but qualified?
Oh, you mean like under the caveat that if this were done, then I would support it?
Right.
I don't think you need my support. You guys have a majority.
Because you
there.
support what we want to spend the money on. You just don't support how ag's going to spend
That's
the
right.
money.
That's
Got
my
it. Okay.
feeling on this.
so you know what I would suggest, Dave, if you want to try and draw something up tonight and bring it in tomorrow, we can still get, and if the committee likes the looks of it, we could still get that to appropriations.
I mean, what would I have to do to get the support of the committee, I guess? Like keep it real simple, maybe just 3 points. I mean, I don't want to like throw out everything at you because it's a little overwhelming, I'm sure.
I'd say pick your top five.
Top five?
Top five. And then, so we've got, let's say we've got 8.8 million. How would you then want them to break up that grant? Because I think that's what you're struggling with. Is how is that going to get allocated? And are people who are doing regenerative farming and doing the types of farming and sort of the resilience work, how are they going to factor into this grant? Because that's not immediately apparent.
Right.
So, yes,
Right.
have some coffee and write that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you all agree with what Josie said?
If Josie was saying, write it up, have some coffee and write it up. And let us take a look at it.
And that's him admitting he,
No, but
that's the last
the
sentence.
part I mean is like a reduced sort of, more concise, like 5 points, 3 points. Because I mean, it's a lot of nonsense. That
So,
is out there.
I would say put as much into it as you feel you can, and then let's take a look at it.
Okay, all right, we'll just go.
Here's an example. This is the local foods grant program.
Yeah,
I would love you to vote,
I'm all in,
Okay.
and in for county.
Priority considerations,
and I'm in. Okay, good, thank you.
developing farm and school connections that indicate to make changes to it. Like, I think this might be a model for you to
Henry,
No,
do.
1, 2.
so
you,
let's wait till they're done talking, because it.
yeah, that'd be great, because I'm not sure where you're finding that link.
Him how to.
And that section,
It's 4721
Hold on, we're just live.
okay,
and
It's just on YouTube.
it's a good general priority
that,
statement
like.
without getting too specific.
I could like, just a section like that would be enough. All right.
And with whatever you want to put in there that to replace things like an indicate,
Right, this is a format and I just fill in the blanks. You got it. And you can send that to me?
Yep.
Thank you, Mike.
So we do have one more question here, and then we'll stop and we can go on our way, but Jed, did you have one more thing you wanted to ask? Or-
You know, it wasn't profound and it was sort of hearsay
No hearsay.
well, the sayer's sitting at the end of the table.
It's me?
No, the
Oh.
actual end,
Okay.
at the head of the table, you know, Counselor O'Grady, in one conversation at some point today was, felt that the Department of Agriculture had a lot of, strong criteria and, you know, that, not that we shouldn't second guess them or what their criterias are, but there's a lot deeper, vetting process to get, these grants. Is that accurate to you? What was I just,
I think there's,
wind blow through the Venetian blinds or what?
no, there's a spectrum for the grants that you, as the ultimate policymaker, have made. Most of the time, you either say something general or you tell the agency to come up with a priority system.
But yeah, that was.
The one time or the most recent time when you got really specific was in the COVID relief funds, and the farmers hated it. Hated it. Because they had to show a lot of stuff that it took time for them to gather together. They didn't like the software application that was being used. Frankly, it sounded like it was a hassle. But it took a lot of time to develop that. It took like almost the entire session.
John?
So, for example, working lands, we really give them a lot of leeway as far as what metrics they want to
Right.
come up with.
Right. And working lands is actually kind of maybe a solution to the issue with H205. You've got the Agency of Ag administering that program right now. You could have working lands administer it and then use their existing authority to set priority and criteria for the awards. So you're set up all the guardrails on it for what it's going to be, but then you just tell them to set what the priority is going to be. So that's one way to deal with that. It would be separate from working lands. So it would be a different appropriation and different statutory authority, but they would be the one administering the grants.
For no compensation.
Well, they get compensation.
They're getting a ton.
Right.
They got people going.
So, okay, good. And so that we'll see what we get tomorrow from Representative Thompson. And yes, I think it's worth acknowledging that, at least for those of us who are new to the committee, that it sounds like what they heard our request, our original reaction to what was presented in the budget proposal, and then came back with more detail. Whether it was as much detail as everyone would like, possibly not, but helpful to hear that it was they were being responsive. Thank you. And thank you all.
Thank you.
And thank you, Laura.